Welcome back and welcome to this final session of the 3Cs Virtual Summit. It's devoted to a kind of Estonian speciality, which is smart connectivity. Estonia is known as a digital nation, so who better to moderate this session than Mr. Ular Jasko, CEO of Digital Nation Limited. Ular, it's all yours.
Dear 3Cs initiative members, partners and friends, we live in a connected world and we aim for a smart and green future. 3Cs initiative has inspired us to share our visions and challenges. It is a challenge to foresee the future. It is a challenge to build our infrastructure to match all future innovations. In this panel, we will discuss smart connectivity concept. Concept is launched today here at the 3Cs Virtual Summit and the Web Forum. Concept is based on Estonian digital nation experience, EU digital framework and recommendations from the industry experts. We will discuss the smart connectivity value for the 3C initiative. We will also discuss challenges of the holistic approach, cross-border approach. Our first keynote presentation is presented by Mr. Pablo Chavez, Vice President for Government Affairs and Public Policy from Google. Please, Mr. Chavez, the air is yours.
Ular, thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you for your work on behalf of Estonia and the broader region. It's tremendous to watch from here in the United States. You've made a tremendous amount of progress. Good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Pablo Chavez, and I'm Google Cloud's Global Vice President of Public Policy. First of all, on behalf of Google, thank you for the invitation to participate in the 3Cs Virtual Summit and Web Forum. It's a real pleasure to be with all of you today. Of course, like all of you, I wish the circumstances were different and that we could be meeting together in Tallinn. Also, our thoughts are with everyone in Central and Eastern Europe who, like so many communities in other countries and regions, including here in the United States, are coping with health and economic challenges related to COVID. I would also like to emphasize that we are really grateful to the Estonian government for hosting this year. And on behalf of Google, I would like to recognize and thank the Estonian presidency, as well as President Kaljulaid, for hosting the event and advancing the 3Cs agenda. Thank you very much for that. So as I advance the slide, I'd like to reflect on three main topics this afternoon. First, I'll discuss the impact of COVID on the economy of the 3Cs region, and in particular, its digital economy. Second, I'll touch on some technology principles and other ideas as suggestions to help drive forward smart connectivity and digital innovation in the region. And finally, I'll suggest how the vision of smart connectivity could be scaled internationally to future-proof the progress of the 3Cs region. So first, let's start with really what is an impressive economic performance on the part of the 3Cs region prior to the crisis. By the beginning of 2020, the Central and Eastern European region had, by all accounts, really become the growth engine of Europe. Of the 12 EU members that grew their GDP by 3 percentage points or more in 2018, 9 were from this region. Looking even farther back, and perhaps narrowing the focus of to the digital economy, since 2012 and until about 2016, 2017, the region's combined digital economy grew by 6.2 percentage points each year. For context, this was twice as fast as the 5 largest EU members. And in late 2018, McKinsey estimated that the full economic opportunity created by digital in the region will be worth a total of about 200 billion euros of additional GDP by 2025. So these are the broader numbers, the statistics, but we also see very real and tangible manifestations of the positive impact of the digital economy on the region. For example, Central and Eastern Europe is home to over 30,000 startups, and the number continues to grow. The region is also the home to what are really globally successful digital companies, many of them unicorns. For example, CD Projekt Red, which is, as most of you know, the Polish game developer who's hit The Witcher, is now shown on Netflix, which I recommend now that many of us are spending a lot of time in front of the television. It's a good show. There's Bolt, which is a leading European transportation platform from Estonia that provides ride-hailing and scooter sharing services. Another great example is UiPath, a process automation company from Romania. And given the importance of cybersecurity, it's important to note that cybersecurity leaders like Avast and ESET from the Czech Republic and Slovakia, respectively, also are global players and very important ones. Finally, I'll note that the Polish e-commerce company Allegro recently announced its plans for an IPO, and that's another great example of the strong digital economy in the 3Cs region. So against this impressive backdrop, a question is, what has been the impact of COVID on the region's digital economy, and how has the pandemic impacted users' approach to technology? So for sure, the pandemic has been and continues to be an extreme hardship. But through this experience, we've seen that there are steps that we can take in the physical world to cope with the virus. So for example, social distancing, mask wearing, and so forth. Similarly, the online world has become a way for us to continue working, engaging with friends and families, and learning during lockdown. As a result, the use of tech has leapt forward something like 3 to 4 years in a very short period of time, 3 to 4 months. Just as an example of this, there are 12 million new users of online services in Central and Eastern Europe. That's a 15 percentage point increase over the number of users at the beginning of the pandemic. And these are numbers that come to us from McKinsey, which I believe on the next panel we'll have the opportunity also to discuss them. And Google's own usage data shows the same trend. We've seen a 60% increase in internet usage globally. In the specific area of e-commerce, search interest in online shopping has increased by 100% worldwide during the pandemic. And Google Meet, our video conferencing product, its peak daily usage has grown by 30x over the past few months. Very importantly, we've also seen governments around the world embrace digital as a way to really better serve citizens. So for example, in the United States, we have seen state governments overhaul their websites and apps and really future-proof them in many ways to address increased demands for government services and improve the delivery and scale of those services. In Central and Eastern Europe, we've seen similar efforts by governments to leverage digital services to serve their citizens. The Estonian government, which is a great example, it was already very, very advanced in digital, but it has also made further advancements during COVID. That government has worked with a number of Estonian startups to add more online public services, including e-verification by notaries and an automatic online sick leave process for employees. Another good example is the Lithuanian government, which recently launched the No Quarantine on the Internet program to help Lithuanian small businesses be successful on the internet. It has gathered over 1,100 e-shops under a single domain in the course of the lockdown. The Latvian government is a tremendous example of e-government during the pandemic. It was one of the first in the world to create and start using a completely remote solution to assemble and work during the pandemic, and has really set the pace and been a great example to other governments around the world that are also doing the same. A final example is the Croatian financial agency, FINA, which also took the opportunity to leverage digital during the pandemic with a COVID score feature, which is a digital scoring mechanism that determines how vulnerable a company is due to the pandemic by linking multiple government databases. This has helped determine vulnerable companies' need for additional funding, for example. One other key lesson is that the fundamental digital infrastructure of the region has proven resilient, and resiliency is critical in both times of emergency and during ordinary times as well. Broadband and 4G connectivity are on average both available and affordable, and this was highlighted again by McKinsey as one of the strengths of the region. Of course, developing it further is important, and it's consistent with the smart connectivity vision, especially given the importance of high bandwidth and low latency to advance Internet of Things solutions as well as edge computing. All of these trends suggest two conclusions. First, that digital is an opportunity both to build resiliency into the region's economy and help future-proof it. And second, that the use of digital tools and services is one of the many important paths that can be taken by governments and the private sector to address the health and economic challenges of COVID. So how then can we make sure that we develop digital in the right direction and in a manner consistent with smart connectivity and the smart connectivity vision? Keeping that question in mind, I wanted to take a few moments to highlight some key principles to help define technological development in a way that's consistent with a smart connectivity vision. I offer these ideas today recognizing the importance not only of being connected, but also of being connected in a way that protects other important societal and economic priorities and that helps ensure that connectivity is sustainable. Essential, of course, to connectivity are interoperability and data portability, both of which also contribute to the idea of smart or really innovative connectivity, because both interoperability and portability help ensure that the digital environment is an open one that offers choice to individuals, governments, and enterprises. In the same manner, the use of open source software encourages openness and connection. Second, smart connectivity requires a fundamental focus on data security and privacy. We believe that this should be ensured by putting in place fundamental security protections. For example, encryption is critical and should be on by default, at rest, and in transit. And we need to continue to innovate to help ensure that encryption of data in use is also a reality. Third, for economies and societies to be connected in a truly smart way, we need to build trust, which is a theme that has come up in previous panels and previous talks. One way to create trust is through transparency. We see this increasingly in the AI space, for example. AI can unlock new ways to make businesses more efficient and create new opportunities to serve individuals. However, how an AI model works is sometimes difficult to understand, and without making the extra effort to explain how it operates, we may not be really achieving trust. And so explaining methods used and what will influence the outcome is critically important to the development of trust in the online world and with AI in mind. A final principle for advancing smart connectivity is a commitment to sustainability and green growth throughout the economy. This is a commitment that we share wholeheartedly with the 3Cs region and apply to our data centers globally and to our data centers in Europe specifically. Google has been carbon neutral since 2007, and today we're working toward 24/7 carbon-free energy everywhere we have data centers. To achieve this kind of carbon-free energy, our data centers will need to work more closely with carbon-free energy sources like wind and solar, which are critical to the 3Cs region. In addition to the technology principles that I've outlined, I would suggest as well ways to measure smart connectivity in the 3Cs region. For example, the region's leadership could think about measuring the development and effectiveness of technical infrastructure in the region, like the data center that Google is building and launching next year in a strategic partnership with the domestic cloud provider of Poland. Other areas that could be measured is how many technology jobs are created and sustained in various sectors as those sectors digitally transform, and maybe how many people in the region are being trained in digital skills and applying skills, the skills that they've learned, to well-paying jobs and the creation of new companies and products and services. At Google, we're proud to be contributing to the region in these areas, and we would very much welcome working with the 3Cs initiative to contributing to the development of smart connectivity success metrics in the region. As smart connectivity advances, we will see the expansion of digital across key infrastructure throughout the 3Cs region as the Smart Connectivity Plan states. It is exciting to see calls for closer collaboration on the digital front because collaboration at the regional level is unlocking the immense potential that the region does have. And perhaps smart connectivity can also be more valuable to Central and Eastern Europe if it is broadened beyond the region, just as the network that is the internet is more valuable because it enables global connectivity. I would like to leave you with 3 thoughts on how to scale this vision further and broader. First, it is easy to really think about and see how the 3Cs region could work together with the EU at the EU level to pursue policies that help realize the smart connectivity vision throughout Europe. The 3Cs initiative could also act as a facilitator in encouraging interoperability necessary for digital services at regional, transatlantic, and global levels. One particular opportunity would be to rely on the historically strong relationship between the region of the 3Cs and the US to implement ideas about smart connectivity and promote innovation-friendly policies. In conclusion, we see a lot of opportunity in the 3Cs initiative to both accelerate the development of the region and also to put the region on the global map as really the place to be for innovation and economic growth. We look forward to supporting your efforts. We're open to engaging more as we work together through the current economic and health crisis. and towards future-proofing the progress of the 3Cs region. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Pablo. Thank you for sharing with us Google Cloud vision, supporting the 3C initiative and supporting 3C initiative smart connectivity. Thank you. And now, the smart connectivity concept will be introduced by President Kersti Kaljulaid.
Data is the new oil, but just like crude oil, you need proper tools and processes in order to refine it. Similarly, the real value of data does not depend on how much we can extract it. But we need the proper tools and correct procedures to make it interoperable and therefore useful across countries, domains, industries, and services. This calls for a shared vision and common standards. Whoever manages to create this will have an enormous advantage to develop growth and innovation. So, let me present our smart connectivity concept.
We envision, in the foreseeable future, that the 3Cs region will be a global hotspot for smart mobility and energy innovation. Smart transportation corridors will cover the entire region. Goods will move seamlessly from factories via autonomous on-demand vehicles, which will then travel on smart roads and railways to smart logistics centers without the friction caused by labor-intensive human work or piles of paperwork. Interoperable smart grids will intersect the region. Our people will not just be energy consumers, but also energy producers at the same time. Innovative renewable energy technologies will be widespread and accessible to all across our countries. By achieving this, we will not just benefit from having our own reliable and efficient smart infrastructure, we will also benefit by developing and selling smart solutions around the globe. Sounds like science fiction? Not to us. The data is out there, and the technology to harness it already exists. Let's not wait any longer to make this science fact. In a nutshell, smart connectivity is a digital layer that links our physical infrastructure in transport and energy. On top of this, various services can be built that allow companies to develop and run business models spanning the entire region. How can we achieve this? The most important issue here is trust. We must first empower people with a secure, state-guaranteed digital identity that is interoperable across borders and can be used for both public and private services. To move ahead with this, we need both political will and a framework for coordination, including to support investments. The 3Cs provides the perfect vessel for this. We will start by developing common standards, enhancing cybersecurity, and integrating digital identities. This will create a secure data space that will, in turn, support new business models and emerging technologies.
This smart connectivity concept fits very well with one of the European Commission's top priorities, which is creation of a common EU data space. But we think we have a competitive advantage over the rest of the EU because we have fewer legacy systems to hold us back. The 3Cs region can emerge as a leader in data and digital connections, not just for Europe, but for the whole world. Let's get started on our smart connectivity today.
Now we have a great opportunity to welcome our panelists of the Smart Connectivity panel. I would like to welcome Mr. Juris Puce, the Minister for Environmental Protection and Regional Development from Latvia. I would like to also welcome Madam Krista Baptista, Senior Director from the Center of Digital Acceleration, DEI, Madam Li Junius, Director of Public Policy and Government Relations from Google Cloud, and Mr. Jurica Novak, Managing Partner from McKinsey & Company's Central European Office. And also welcome Mr. Taavi Veskimägi, the Chairman of the Board from the Estonian energy company Elering. Welcome all. Welcome. Starting our panel, I will start from a few introductory questions. Let us start to ask you, Mr. Veskimägi, what motivates your company Elering to align with the smart connectivity concept, and what are the key benefits any company actually should expect in return?
Elering's mission is keep lights on and home seated in Estonia, and smart connectivity help us to deliver our vision. Our vision is really synchronize Baltic power system with the continental Europe with a very reliable way. Same time also support the regional economic competitiveness. And maybe the last but most important, to help European Commission and Estonian government to deliver their aims to decarbonize energy sector. And especially this last aim, we try to deliver based on the digital tools what we have, because the future energy system operation is very much based on the digital platforms, and those digital tools allows us to integrate more renewable generation, intermittent renewable generation into the grid, because it allows to interconnect more flexibility into the grid.
I see. Thank you. Mr. Novak, McKinsey has published last week a research paper, Digital Challengers in the Next Normal, Central Eastern Europe on Path of Digitally Led Growth. I would like to ask, what are the most important conclusions from it?
Thank you. In 2018, we published a series of reports on the rise of digital challengers across CEE. We pointed out that robust digitization could act as the next driver of sustainable growth in the region, potentially contributing 200 billion of additional GDP by 2025. Of course, when we made our recommendations, we did not foresee a pandemic transforming the world as we knew it. So with that in mind, we decided to revisit our data on digital challengers to see how well CEE countries were prepared for the disruption caused by COVID. Our new analysis suggests that the 2019 digital economy in CEE was roughly 2% above our forecasted business as usual scenario, reaching a value of around 94 billion. However, CEE countries achieved only 80% of the target levels we calculated in an aspirational scenario. Others developed faster. In the same time period, the digital front runners from Northern Europe managed to grow even faster, widening the gap. So during the first 5 months of the COVID-19 pandemic, the digital economy in CEE grew almost twice as fast as it did in the last 2 years. So COVID made us react. Between January and May 2020, it grew at more than 14% and captured 78% or 5.3 billion of the increase seen in the whole of 2019. This also saw almost 12 million new users of online services appearing in CEE during the first months of the pandemic. And the strongest growth was actually observed among consumers aged over 65. And around 70% of the respondents claim that they will continue to use new services digitally after the pandemic. So to conclude, we have an additional growth potential in Central Europe. And in light of the rapid migration of consumers to digital technologies driven by the pandemic, we have an opportunity to capture the momentum for future growth. Although the pandemic is an ongoing crisis that has taken and altered so many lives, we see now that the lockdowns it required have also been a tipping point for digital transformation, meaning now is the time to act.
Thank you. It's very interesting conclusions. Minister Puja, based on the same McKinsey report, a holistic approach is needed to achieve a digital transformation. Public sector should create digital ecosystems and also boost cross-border collaboration. But in real life, how complex is the process for government to get all stakeholders and cross-border partners to focus on the same targets? What's your daily trouble?
Good evening. First of all, I would like to say thank you for inviting me to participate in this panel. It is a very important initiative happening right now in Tallinn and everywhere in the world. That's the opportunity we have in this digital era. The question you ask somehow pushes me to say to you that yes, it's a very complex process, but it's true not only for digital transformation, it's true for every single government process in democratic countries. As we know, democratic countries are harder to govern, but it's much more sustainable in the end. And as for every single democracy, we should have strong institutions. We should have a thriving civil society to be part of the process. We should have organize events and forums for discussions to happen, and actually time for experience to emerge and trust to be built. And for that purpose, also 3Cs initiative should have both institutions, and I know the idea to have a secretariat around is a very good idea. We need to have forums, as we have today, events organized for everybody to participate, and we of course also need to have time for discussions to happen. And this is true for every democratic process. And if you have a cross-border, multi-country process, then we need to have a much more complex view of our development, and much more effort needs to be done to achieve results.
Thank you very much. But the future ahead of us is very complex, as we just touched. I would like to now touch the technological complexity and ask Google Cloud representative, Madam Yunus, despite many available articles around the internet listing the most important technology trends to keep eye on, what are the trends you consider as a fundamental changes not to be missed while making long-term infrastructure and energy investments?
Thank you, Ulla, and thanks also to the Estonian presidency for inviting us. Yes, we had many discussions with companies, with public sector entities. We read a lot of articles. And if we see one trend not to be missed, then it's cloud adoption. That's for us absolutely essential. And we see that cloud has already started to change the way we live our lives and the way we do business. And we see that cloud helps companies transform their operations, helps to drive growth, and empowers their workers. It can also help public administration provide better and more efficient services. Moreover, cloud transformation can address new internal culture challenges and enhance the collaboration within and between organizations. And we have seen with the COVID-19 crisis an acceleration of digitalization across every industry and every size. So why do I believe cloud is something not to be missed? Well, I think there are 4 reasons for that. First of all, we believe that cloud is democratizing AI by giving access to AI and machine learning tools. Secondly, we believe open cloud and a multi-cloud approach can bring many benefits to companies. Open cloud enables faster innovation, tighter security, and avoids vendor lock-in. We believe that open source technology and advancing solutions that promote interoperability are at the benefits of many companies. Thirdly, cloud helps to enhance security. Cloud is more secure than on-premise hosting. Security should come first when building and using smart technology. It should be a guiding principle for everyone to establish and maintain trust. The last reason that I would like to give is related to environmental sustainability, as reflected in the 3Cs aim to become a global hotspot for energy use efficiency. environmental sustainability has been gaining a lot of importance among the tech industry in the last 2 decades due to the rapid growth in energy consumption. We know that technology companies have a critical role to play in climate transition. And we want to help achieving this landmark vision. And we believe that environmental sustainability is an important part of cloud-driven innovation. For instance, to give you an example at cloud, since 2017, we have matched in Google 100% of the electricity consumption with renewable energy purchases. So in conclusion, cloud adoption is the key trend to capture.
Thank you. Thank you very much. But how can we build a success? What are the key criteria for that? What are the best practices? Mr. Novak, what are the best practices for enterprises or governments mastering the complexity of the technological and structural changes in digital life, energy sources, value chains, and business processes? What should we be afraid of, and how can we support the concept by different stakeholders?
Action is required by all stakeholders in the region to satisfy their customers' and citizens' digital appetites. Businesses need an e-commerce website, online customer service, and cloud and automation technologies, including data analytics, AI, robotic process automation, and improved IT architecture in order to survive. To successfully achieve a digital transformation, enterprises need a holistic approach, digitizing customer interactions, optimizing operations, and modernizing their core IT. At the same time, policymakers could consider bringing more public services online and create a digital ecosystem in which individuals and businesses can thrive. Estonia is an excellent example of such a country. They can do this by supporting entrepreneurship, creating incentives for SMEs to digitize, and cooperating with tech clusters, sectors that enhance the competitiveness of the region. But collaboration on the CEE level is the most important. Together, CEE represent 100 million citizens and 1.5 trillion euro in GDP, making it the equivalent of the 12th largest economy in the world. We matter, and this gives us significant scale. So in our report, we put forward the idea of creating a CEE Digital Council that would drive the digital agenda and tap into the potential of a single digital market.
Thank you very much for this very specific idea and very specific proposal. But policy and concepts need to be implemented on daily life of companies and citizens. And I would like to ask Mr. Veskimägi, what is the footprint of your company ideas here around the Baltic Sea? What are the key success factors building cross-border shared vision partnerships?
Of course, key success factor is a trust. If there are mutual trust between partners, then we can rely energy sources from other countries. And energy policy is not value-free. And we in Elering really believe that the best way ensure security of supply of our customers is well-functioning cross-border, cross-energy sources energy market. And it exactly brings me back to the trust issue, that can we really rely power generator on Daugava River in Latvia or power generator in Olkiluoto in Finland? And if we can do that, then we really can implement the smart connectivity concept. Otherwise, it's really pointless that if we not trust our neighbors, if we anyway like to have our own generators in our backyards, anyway, just for the case, then I think the smart connectivity doesn't work. And the largest initiative, what we are working right now, is the Baltic Offshore Grid Initiative. It really brings all Baltic Sea companies together, transmission system operators together, develop, instead of the radial interconnectors, really hybrid network, which can and allows us deploy Baltic Sea offshore wind capabilities. There are many studies already done which shows that if all Baltic Sea countries acting together, we can do energy sector decarbonization much cheaper and much faster for all nations, because Baltic Sea offshore wind capability is really enormous, something currently measured something 93 gigawatts. It's basically 1/3 of all Baltic Sea countries' load. It really shows that if we cooperate, if we act very bold together, we can do entire energy sector decarbonization much faster and much cheaper for all nations.
Thank you. This case study from the Baltic Sea is definitely worth of looking more deeply into. But now I have a question about the shared vision or competition of ideas. Madam Baptista, first of all, I would like to thank you for your personal contribution and the contribution of your organization, DAI, for the smart connectivity concept. It has been a great work you have accomplished. Smart connectivity, once adopted and followed by all members, could boost the efficiency of investments and speed up the process. But aren't we moving away from the shared principles of EU? Are the 3C smart connectivity strategies aligned, and are our strategic partners supporting the same fundamentals?
Thank you. And on behalf of DAI, I'd like to thank the 3Cs initiative for inviting me here, and also for the opportunity that we've had to work with Estonia's Ministry of Economic Affairs and Communications to develop a vision on smart connectivity. The overall vision of smart connectivity, as we've been hearing today, is to expand digital components across key infrastructure, such as transportation and energy. Smart connectivity is not just about being smart and connecting today's infrastructure, but it's about building a foundation for tomorrow's green, digital-driven industry that can create jobs, build economic competitiveness, and accelerate innovation across the region. So in response to the question about alignment of smart connectivity and EU principles, I would say that the smart connectivity concept very much aligns with and complements the European Union's priorities around both digital development and green growth. I don't think that 3Cs is operating somehow outside of the EU platform. In the Smart Connectivity Vision paper, we've highlighted the importance of the EU and its strategies, pilot projects, as well as funds and regulatory frameworks that are already in place that the 3Cs members can build upon. We make a strong case in the paper for aligning with European Commission innovation pilots, for example, or investing in cloud services for EU private and public sector, as we've been hearing about. The paper also aligns with EU strategic goals, and we need to continue to do so. For example, the EU data strategy opens up an investment opportunity for the 3Cs region to build data centers across Europe for federated cloud services while ensuring that there are reasonably limited regulatory restrictions for institutional clients. So I would say that the 3Cs smart connectivity vision supports an even stronger union within Europe, while also encouraging transatlantic cooperation and cooperation between 3Cs member states.
Thank you. This is a very good advice that we should not be afraid. It's the same vision we share. Digital enablers and digital fundamentals. I would like to ask Minister Puce, we have discussed multiple trends enabling both governments and enterprises to improve the efficiency and ecological footprint of the future processes. But how can we make sure that the data privacy and general data protection rules, GDPR, and cyber risks are actually well defended? Don't we take too many risks by building everything smart?
I think the question is there's a name that is mentioned the most in this discussion and also previous panels in this forum about trust. And the issue is whether you have only legal regulation around digital services, or you also have a system where you work together in order to enable trust. Digital for European Union, we have a lot of legal requirements regarding data privacy and other regulation. And we should, of course, continue in implementing it. And the EU, in that sense, is a region where also the value of data privacy is very high. And we should continue in when developing a new investment in technology and new services to continue to guard data privacy rights. But at the same time, it's also a question of whether we enable investment, and that is also we can trust that the countries that are, or companies that are investing in our data infrastructure, for example, are from the trusted sources. Whether we have federated data cloud solutions in EU, and our region can be one of the key enablers for that idea to happen. This is all a matter of very practical trust building exercises. And in that sense, to build a smart connectivity within this region is also a matter of building a trust between us, but also globally. Which region is the best one to have your businesses developed? At the same time, the business should be the one who uses and enables the best data privacy rules. And in that sense, I'm not actually afraid that we will not be able to guard rights of our people. I'm more curious of what will be the best solutions, technological solutions to do it.
Thank you very much. To continue on the same topic, Mr. Novak, as an Estonian, I would like to ask you, how important is a digital ID and secure digital ID in this system, and what are the other digital growth fundamentals that we should not forget?
So we believe that connectivity is a crucial enabler for companies and governments, allowing them to digitize their services so that consumers can access them online. And digital ID is a crucial element of that. And as said before, our recent survey found that at the peak of the pandemic, there were almost 12 million new users of online services in Central Europe. However, just 26% of these new users accessed digital services in the public sector, and their satisfaction levels were lower than for other sectors. Practically all of countries in the region have either already implemented digital services or are in the process of doing so, some faster, some slower. The three elements that Central European public sectors struggle with most are e-payments, e-invoices, and the interoperability of the data that they gather. While the goal for governments during lockdown was to create new online services fast, and we have seen that they were able to do so, now is the time to check the quality of those services and make sure that they are fully integrated with each other to maximize the customer satisfaction in the end. And for that, a feeling of trust based on a secure digital ID is critical.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Veskimägi, the focus on energy sources, sustainability and security does not leave all that much light to the share of the energy data. For too many people, buzzwords like cryptocurrency, blockchain are synonyms. The AI and machine learning are just a form of magic. The digital superhero Estonia is often seen as an exception using the latest technologies, but not always as the standard with the real option to roll out the same concept globally. My question is, what is the probability that this Baltic Sea energy data partnership model will be co-owned, co-developed, co-managed on all three seas of the region and possibly even on transatlantic scale on the ocean?
We all know that what makes digital platforms so great that if you have a working business model in place, you basically can scale up wherever the similar problem exists. In my company, Elering, we're currently running Elering Energy Market digital platform cluster. And this cluster really involves three new innovative initiatives to really empower customer, support decarbonization of entire energy system and facilitate competition. And those three are, and basically we are already working with many partners from different, mainly EU countries right now, because we have a single EU energy market from Gibraltar to Nordkap, and we really like to exhaust this capacity what have there. But those three initiatives really are that Energy Data Bridge Alliance, which really allows to customers get to information wherever he or she is from one single source, and to do it really trustable and secure manner, and also provide energy traders to get customer information from one single source. That basically, if you are going to the retail market from Estonia to Finland as a power supplier, then basically you can use the same IT interface for all markets. And we know that retail market margins are very low. It really enhances competition. The second one, renewable energy platform, which allows to trade electricity and gas currently or regions all over the Europe, which really the extra source of revenues for power companies to go and decarbonize their portfolios, and same time also make choice for customers to consume green energy. And the last, but maybe the most important, at least from my company side, is flexibility market platform, what we are doing together already with Estonian, Latvian and Finnish partners, which really brings cross-border all flexibility together. And these really three initiatives, platform type of initiatives, what we can scale up all over the world where similar problems exist.
Thank you. This is very encouraging. But who should take the lead? That's the question. Madam Baptista, I would like to ask, change is often triggered by a visionary leader, but there can't be any leaders without followers and supporters. We need all stakeholders to participate. Governments are usually responsible only to build a framework. Should governments, big tech companies or industry enterprises take the lead to build the smart connectivity path?
Thank you. There are really strong business ties in the region, often stronger than political ties. The private sector is the key player to make smart connectivity vision a success. Though governments have a role in reviewing and updating regulatory barriers, I would say that a lot can be achieved with a holistic business process redesign. Critically, businesses have a role in ensuring that services and processes do not end at a country's borders. The smart energy concept outlined in the paper directly addresses the environmental impacts as well of the energy and transport sectors, and identifies opportunities that are created for the economy, especially circular and green jobs. The smart energy system of the future will be a consumer-centric one, in which citizens take on the role of proactive decision makers and market influencers in a digitized and decentralized system by becoming prosumers, consumers and producers at the same time. And we heard about smart metrics that are needed that can enable this concept, and we need to encourage and find business models that can support these metrics now. So thanks to the EU, many barriers have been removed, but at the member state level, there are still elements of bureaucracy that can be optimized, and businesses can help by pinpointing flaws and opportunities for improvement, helping governments proactively improve cross-border processes, for example. The answer is really in collaboration and coordination between business and government, and the 3Cs Secretariat can facilitate this coordination. Ultimately, if governed consistently and sustainably, this coordination can create a virtuous cycle of investment and innovation, positioning the 3Cs members as leaders in the global green economy. And really, one of the key messages of the paper is that infrastructure investment needs to be made with a view to the future, considering changes that are upcoming, especially in digital environmental sectors. And this is going to require both government and private sector to really be engaged.
Thank you. Thank you, Dad. Let's talk about, for the end of this panel, also about opportunities and responsibilities. Madam Junius, it's no secret that many global tech companies are struggling to strike a balance between the business interests and social interests. Balance is also needed between the differences in the regulatory and climate networks and frameworks of different parts of the world. How would you define the role of the global tech company, and what could Google Cloud, for example, bring to the 3Cs region?
We really take our social responsibility very seriously. And I think we owe it to the society to be responsible stewards of the technology we develop and we create. And we can only succeed if our users trust us. Our product should always have an impact, a positive impact on the world, whether it's about protecting the privacy of the people who use our services, or whether it's about AI to do more with less data, or whether it's about protecting the environment we all rely on. As a leading tech company, we believe that technology solutions can help address some of these issues, and that's why we continue to innovate in these areas in partnership with local players. I can give you a few examples. So, for instance, to illustrate how we use technological solutions, you can look at the current debate on digital sovereignty, and the president also referenced to the EU data strategy and data spaces. This is an important debate, and there are lots of underlying concerns. And what we would like to contribute as a company is to look at technological solutions to make sure that customers can enhance the control over their data and that they have full visibility when and how their data are used. Another example is, for instance, in the area of sustainability, where we again believe that technology can bring a lot of solutions. I give you an example. We achieved an energy saving of 30% in the cooling, used for cooling, because we used AI to improve the efficiency of our data centers. And if all the data centers in Europe could achieve a similar level of energy efficiency, this could cut the electricity consumption of the European data centers by 50%. That's an amount that is larger than the annual electricity consumption of all Swedish homes. One key part of our commitment to the 3Cs region is also our ongoing work to open a cloud data center, a cloud Google region in Warsaw, Poland, to really support all those businesses, all those companies to successfully navigate the digital transformation. So to summarize, we take the balance between business and social responsibility very seriously, and we're ready to partner with all the local stakeholders in the 3Cs regions in order to address this.
Thank you. Thank you much. The last question is to the audience of this panel, everyone who is watching this. And I have one last question to all participants. If we will time travel to the future, if smart connectivity concept will be implemented as we discussed, if all stakeholders will contribute to make the concept future-proof, what is the new reality we will see at the 3C Smart Connectivity 10th birthday? Let us build the answer to this question together, all together. I invite all members, partners and friends to contribute to the 3C's initiative Smart Connectivity. Let us be smart and let us be connected. Thank you, all participants of the panel. It was a very valuable discussion. Thank you for sharing your insights and wisdom. I wish our smart connectivity foiling boat fast and safe sailing. We are all the members of the crew now. No one can stay aside.